Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Satsang with myself, John Homewood, and
Michelle. Hi there, everyone.
Michelle. Yeah, we're sitting in the lounge tonight because it's cold and we've got a fire going here.
We've got load shedding.
And we've got load shedding. Load shedding as well. So sorry for being a few minutes late. Our internet was battling to connect there. That's why we're a little bit late here. But welcome to all those who are joining us. Thank you. We love knowing who we're talking to, and we love getting those hearts. Thank you for the hearts. That's beautiful. And tonight we're going to be talking about the importance of connection. And so we were battling to get connected to the internet now, but it's not so much tonight about connecting to the internet as connecting to something more profound, more fundamental than the internet. But the internet's good to connect to as well.
Well, for us to connect to you in this day and age, we haven't quite perfected telepathy.
No, our ESP is not that good. But so we relied on the internet, so thank you. Hello Merlene, hello Diane. Yes, hi to you all. Thank you for the hearts. We love getting the hearts, so thank you for doing that. And if you find what we have to share with you valuable, if you can press the like and the share button, and if you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well. Hello Paula. Hi Paula. Hello to everyone. Yeah, so hopefully you're a bit warmer than we are, but we've had a beautiful day. I mean, absolutely beautiful day. Cool day, but beautiful day. We went for a lovely walk in the most magnificent forest this afternoon. Really, really beautiful. And but now it's evening. It's quite icy, so that's why we've got this fire going in front of us to keep us warm, stop us from freezing. Hey, yeah. Hello Sharon. Hello from Pinetown, my old town. I used to live in Pinetown many years ago. I spent 5, 6, 7 years there in Pinetown.
Hi Shirley.
Hello Shirley. Hello. Hi. So welcome. Tonight is the importance of connection. So let's start this evening by connecting to something a bit more real than the mind and the stories we've been telling ourselves all day, and that is life itself. So we're going to connect with presence, and we're going to do that through a short meditation. So if you want to just settle back into wherever you are seated, and let's just connect with our hearts to one another through the portal of stillness, portal of presence. So we do this by accessing a couple of the tools that we have spoken many times about, and that's the tools that help us clear our mind and bring us into presence. Presence is the answer. Presence is true connection. So let's just close our eyes gently. And take a deep breath in. And a long breath out. And take another very deep breath in, right down to your toes this time. And as we breathe out, we just let go of all other times and all other places and just be here now, in this moment, connecting with your body, connecting with this present moment, this sacred present moment, here and now. These circumstances and situations that we find ourselves in right now, as we connect, are unique to this moment. And they will rapidly dissipate and disappear into the sands of time. But let's take a moment to honor the situations and circumstances that we find ourselves in with our full attention, full awareness. So let's just become aware of the chair we're sitting on right now, or the floor we're lying on, or the bed we're lying on, or wherever it is. But just connect directly with the sensation of whatever it is that's supporting the body, to be felt fully in this moment. And say thank you. Thank you to that chair or that floor or that bed for supporting you in this moment, just this moment, here and now. And take another very deep breath in, right down to the low diaphragm, blowing the tummy up like a big ball. And when it can't get any fuller, then just release it with a long sigh, withdrawing the mind from the stories with the yesterdays, with the tomorrows. Just be here now. Focusing on the stillness contained between the words that I speak. The quietness. That's the true essence of being in this moment. And just become aware of the sounds that may be coming into your ears right now. Just become aware of all those different sounds. But become aware of the stillness within that listens to them. The awareness that's aware of the sounds is stillness. So it is stillness as the primary mode of awareness that listens. So as we listen, we also become aware to that which listens. Where we are right now, we can hear the crackling of the fire. And it's to become aware of the awareness that is aware of that crackling of the fire. And take another deep breath in. And a long, releasing, surrendering breath out. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And just become aware right now of the temperature of the room on your cheeks. Become aware of your shoulders and your neck muscles, and if there's any tension there, just allow it to slide away. Become aware of the hands, where the hands are touching right now. Any sensations coming into the body through your hands. Become aware of your spine. Say thank you to the spine for supporting the body in the way that it does. And relaxing each vertebra as we go down the spine, from the neck right the way down to the coccyx. We relax the pelvis, we relax the thighs, the knees, the calf muscles, the shins, the ankles, and we become aware of the feet, the soles of the feet, the heel, the ankles, and now the toes. Become aware of the big toe on your right foot. And just become aware of any sensations in the toe. Let's move our attention to the left big toe. And do the same thing there. Just check in with the toe and see if there's any sensations in the toe that need to be released in this moment. And let's become aware of the connection with Mother Earth beneath our feet. And let's say thank you to Mother Gaia for providing the platform for our lives, for providing all our needs. Yes, we think it is our doingness that meets our needs, but in fact it isn't. It's Mother Gaia. Everything that we need to be human comes from Mother Gaia. And we say thank you to her. She is our mother. And she is an abundant supplier. If we get out of the way, if we get the mind out of the way, if we remove the obstacles that we have to life, and we allow life to flow smoothly through Mother Gaia into us, into our experiences. We then see the abundance and the ease of life, despite the thoughts and the preferences and the fears of the mind. Take another deep breath in. And a long breath out. Let's become aware of Father Sky above our heads and feel a conduit from Mother Gaia up through the spine, bursting out through the top of the head and connecting with the stars, with the cosmos, with the energies of the universe. And we are that sacred conduit between the two. Just feel the connection right now between Mother Gaia and Father Sky. Feel that connection. You are that connection. You're that conduit, that antenna for life. And you, yes you, are vital for the perfect unfoldment of the cosmos. You're made of stardust. You're directly connected to the intelligence we call life that orchestrates all of the universe. While the mind fails to comprehend the sacred connection, it is there despite our perception. There is perfection in this moment, right now. Connecting once more with the breath. Take a deep breath in. A long breath out. And bring this stillness and this peace back into your awareness of the environment around you. You may gently open your eyes and just see how you feel in this moment. A bit more centered, a bit more peaceful, a bit more relaxed. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks,
What's
everybody.
happening in the heavens and the stars?
We've
Talking
got
of
a
the
full moon
stars.
coming up,
Yeah.
which I'll do an update maybe if I've got time before then.
Yeah. When is it?
Wednesday. It's 30th and 31st.
Okay.
Where we are. So it's
Yeah.
forming in the sky. So things intensify generally as full moons become full. So yeah, I think
It brings
that's-
up the
I
emotions,
think it does. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it certainly is doing that. I think, for a lot of
amplifies
people.
energies.
It's making
Yeah.
things a bit bigger.
Mm.
And there's quite a lot going on this full moon, but I still need to really tune into it.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
But this month is really about the sun's now in Virgo, which is very much a month of letting go, detoxing, uncluttering, simplifying, sort of getting down to practical things like looking after your health, looking after your environment, getting rid of things that are in the way and that are draining our energy, draining our connection. So I think that's just a little bit of a guideline with what's going on at the moment.
Yeah. And we are moving on the full moon. I didn't
We
realize
are.
that.
So we are busy in the midst of boxes and
Yeah.
all that.
Boxes and moving. So
Very
we.
Virgo and putting everything in boxes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we're literally doing it. So we're surrounded by boxes, if you
Yeah,
can see
That's
where we
right.
are right now.
Yeah. So we've got a big move coming up.
And just seeing what's needed and what's not needed. And
Clearing that which.
clearing it and seeing the unnecessary stuff that one accumulates. And
Yeah.
you don't really need it.
Yeah.
Even in a little while.
Yeah.
That stuff sort of, and it kind of almost, it de-energizes us. The stuff around us
Yeah.
and things that don't work and drawers that are full or whatever, it's actually de-energizing.
Yeah. It's a good time to
Blocks
do
our
in the
connection.
southern hemisphere now. Spring clean.
It is,
Okay.
it is a
Spring
month
clean.
of spring cleaning.
September. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. So we're totally in alignment
Spring
with that.
cleaning body, spring cleaning mind, spring cleaning environment, just really
Yeah.
looking at it and saying what needs to go.
Yeah.
I haven't used that for the last 2 years. I don't think I need it anymore. Or what's the mind pattern that's been perpetuating itself that I can actually shift into another gear.
Yeah.
So this is the month to discern. Virgo energy is about discerning
Yeah.
and saying this is right, this is wrong. I don't need to keep that. So it's in the astrology, it's known as the separator of the wheat from the chaff. So you're left with just what you need, and you get rid of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I see, in the month of September, there's a lot of predictions being made about changes. I see the US are preparing for another pandemic. I see that there are certain financial people talking about a financial reset coming up soon. So I believe that we are going to go through a lot of changes. And that's the importance of the topic that we've chosen for tonight, the importance of connection. Because we have been programmed, I believe, to disconnect from the real essence of who we are and what we are, and rely upon the world of form for our sense of security, for our sense of identity. And that world of form, as we have been speaking about for the last 3 years, is extremely unstable and is changing, is crumbling in so many ways, that unless we find our true essence, that true sense of being, that true connection with life, we may flounder. We may flounder, and we may feel a lot of insecurities and maybe even some anxieties. I was looking at figures the other day, and I believe that the figure used to be 43 million prescriptions of Prozac a year in the States, and yet the figure now has grown over the last 3 years to 350 million prescriptions a year, tenfold. And that's because of all the uncertainty that we've been going through over the last 3 years. Suicides are right the way up. We just heard of someone today who took his own life, a musician. And it is due to the inability or the unacknowledgement of the real connection that we have with Source. And that is not through the forms of our life. It's not through the stuff that we have. It's not even through our relationships, although we will talk a bit about that tonight. It's about our real connection to life itself and the way we connect with life, because you must remember, life is only ever now. Life is only in this present moment, here and now. So are we able and are we willing to give up our mind and our disconnected sense of self in time and reconnect with the life that is in this present moment, here and now, which is the only place. I mean, if you have the concept of the divine, and you might call it God, the grand organizing design, God is omnipresent. In other words, it's always here, always present, now. And that's life. Life is always here. Your body is animated now. You're breathing the breath of life now. That is our source. Not your bank account, not your career, not your future goals. Life is only ever now. And I believe particularly in the month of September, it's really, really important to reconnect with the sacred essence of being. So just I just want to share, did you want to say something there? Mm-hmm. No. Just from a biological point of view, I was listening to Zach Bush the other day, and he was talking about cancer is when a cell disconnects from the environment, from the body around it. It's a disconnected sense of self. For whatever reason, it may disconnect because of EMFs, it may disconnect because of toxins in the body, it may disconnect because of lack of nutriments in the body, lack of oxygen in the body, maybe the electrical field is being interfered with. But for some reason, a cell disconnects from the whole, and it turns cancerous. And if you think about the way society works, let's think of the way the corporate world has been set up. The corporate world is designed to take more than it needs to the detriment of the whole. It's just the way it is. Just the game has been set up that way. And in the human body, when a cell takes more than it needs to the detriment of the whole, we call that cancer. So we're living in a financial system, really, which is cancerous, which is destructive to the whole, yes, it benefits a few. And I believe we're going through a process of transformation, and that transformation necessitates healing. And healing is to reconnect. That's what the word is, to reconnect with the life that we are, with the love that we are. Healing means to make whole again, to come back to source. And I believe now, particularly as we move into the month of September, it's a very, very good time to reconnect, to heal, to come back home to the true essence of what it is that we are, which is life, which is being, which is the divine. And to heal that misperception of disconnection. So that's really what tonight's talk is about.
And I think that as the technological world starts to increase, so as AI starts to increase, and as our access to digital screens starts to get more and more and more so, we're actually disconnecting from life, and very often disconnecting from each other as well. So I've spoken about it before, just energetically and astrologically, but we have Pluto moving into Aquarius, has already visited Aquarius and it's gone out, and now it's going back in again. And that is, it can be seen as powered by technology. Now that can be seen as a good thing in many respects, because there might be incredible quantum healing methodologies that come to light over the next 20 years, because it's a 20-year process. But the other side of it is controlled by that very same technology, where technology takes over and we lose our humanness, we lose our connection. We lose our connection to life and to each other. And if you look at the figures in the world, in terms of suicide and depression, as John said, it's unbelievable. I don't think it's ever been this high, because I think more and more people are becoming more and more isolated because they're in technology all the time. So I just see this as a month also, and as a way of actually introducing it into our lives, to actually spring clean that as well. So to sort of say, how much time am I giving to life? How much am I interacting with life in this moment? And how much time am I spending behind a screen? And maybe just limiting that, detoxing it, saying, yeah, maybe, I've got to just bring that time down. And I think all of us, for one reason or another, and to one level or another, are addicted to screens right now. We get our news from screens, we use the screens as a camera, we talk to each other, we message each other, we're never without our phones. And that's become a part of our lives, but if we're not careful, it actually overtakes our lives and disconnects us. And I've seen it happening more and more with so many people. You can barely have a conversation with someone and they're reaching for their phone to check their messages. And it was only 2 minutes ago that they checked their message the last time. And so it's just to look at it, not to judge, but to see how that's impacting on our lives, on our connection with life. When did you last just sit down and be with life for an extended time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, without looking for something else to feed in to that moment, just the pure moment as it is. Today we were sitting next to a little stream with a waterfall, and just sitting there, just being with life in all its beauty, in all her beauty, Gaia, water, earth, air, sunlight.
And a beautiful, thick, indigenous forest.
And actually feeling the palpable energy of life. That's what's going to keep us sane and in true connection going forward as the world enters into an unknown place. Because we're entering into an unknown place. None of us have ever been through this before.
Yeah, just talking about connection. Yeah, So technology has been sold to us through the back door of you've got connection.
Exactly.
And it has seemed to connect us instantaneously, like we are doing tonight. We're connecting with you, and it's wonderful, and we can connect with friends and family no matter where they are in the world today. We can connect instantly to them through this technology, and that is wonderful. It's beautiful. But is it not maybe a Trojan horse? Is it not in the very act of connecting in this manner that we are disconnecting from life? Because there is no life in the screen. There's electricity in the screen, yes, but no life itself. There's no organic life in the screen. And I'm not saying disconnect totally from electronic media. No. I'm not saying that at all. We're not saying that. We're saying take more time to connect with real life, even while you are maybe having to rely upon this form of electronic communication at the moment. Take time to sit on the lawn, connect with the grass, connect with the trees, connect with the movement of air, connect with reality as it is, because the screen is not reality. The screen is a reflection of reality. Life is real, and life is only ever now, and life is only ever available to us through organic material matter. That's where the flow of it, feeling, yeah. And although electronics seem to have that emotional connection with us, it's pseudo. One must understand, if you've seen that film, what was it called, Social Dilemma, that the social media companies designed to trigger dopamine addiction in the brain, which makes you feel alive, but it's not aliveness as such. It's not true aliveness. It's just a chemical stimulation of the brain to make you feel alive, and that's what the addiction to the screen is really all about. And I've said many times before that we actually have a path that's being divided at the moment. We have a fork in the path, and the one part of the fork is pretty much along the lines of where we have been moving for a long time, and that is the path marked fear, false evidence appearing real. And the other part that's opening up to us now is the path marked love. Now, fear is about disconnection. It's false evidence appearing real, and it divides. Fear divides. If you want to control a population, for example, you introduce fear. People will then do weird stuff, like walk around with pieces of cloth on their face, thinking they're protecting themselves from a virus. That's fear that creates that insanity in the world. And then on the other side we have love. Love is about connection. Connection to what? Connection to life. Connection to love. Connection through the heart to reality. Where fear is about connecting, yes, maybe, but through the brain, through division, through separation, through me and the world outside of us. So if we go back a little bit to the human experience, we entered into a dimension of 5 senses. There are 5 senses that we have squeezed ourselves into, and we perceive the world through the 5 senses. And those 5 senses have given us the perception of separation. In other words, there's me and what I can hear, what I can see, what I can taste, what I can touch, what I can feel. That's me. And I'm inside here. And then there's the world out there. And I'm separate from that. And that is because we have disconnected from another sense called the 6th sense. The 6th sense is when we connect with, the Hopi Native Americans spoke about now the 5th son being born. So we're going back into another level. And this other level of consciousness is connection to what they called ether. And ether has been lost in our dimension of awareness. But that's a reconnection, a proper reconnection to the oneness of life, the oneness of all life. Life is only one. We're an aspect of life, but we have imprisoned ourselves through the 5 senses in this particular tower of cells that says there's an inside and an outside. In truth, there is no inside and outside. It is all one. You're not separate from the leaves on the tree. You're not separate from the wind. You're not separate from the water. You're not separate from Mother Earth. You're not separate from the human beings that you find yourself surrounded with. We are one. In the same way that every cell in your body is part of the whole. But the misperception of separation in a cell creates a dysfunction in that cell that creates the ultimate destruction of the body through that misperception of separation. And there are ways that we can reconnect.
And I think that separation is the thing that causes suffering, it causes depression. That thought that we are separate. We have to have some kind of separation in order to perceive each other as somebody else. So there has to be some kind of separation. But it's got to a point where it's you're that and I'm this and there's no connection at all. And I think, just going back to the screens, that's another layer of disconnection. So where we used to have a face-to-face meeting with people to discuss something and get the full energetic, emotional, mental connection, now there's something in between that. So I believe that as the split happens, we're going to be called upon to actually become more real, more grounded in the present, more grounded in this as this moment of that will never be repeated, with this being in front of me that is part of me. This being is not separate from me, because it can't be, because there is no separation. And it's the illusion of separation that actually creates the suffering. And what we have now is we have Saturn moving into Pisces, which is the shower of illusion. Saturn is showing us where our illusions are. And with the separation is an illusion. So the more we can see that to find our true connection is to just be fully present with someone in this moment and not to have a screen, physical or otherwise, up between us. I just want to check, somebody there said that the connection is bad. Can somebody just give us a message to tell us if they can hear us properly?
Yeah, we have had load shedding for the last couple of hours, and normally at the end of load shedding the signal gets quite weak in the towers, but we have got the power just came on a minute ago, so the signal should improve, but it may take a few minutes for that signal to improve. So just let us know if you can hear us all right, or
send us a message.
Is it affecting everyone or just some of you?
Fine. Okay,
that's
thanks,
fine.
Joe.
Okay, thank you very much.
Because we don't know. There's no way of us knowing.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
good. Okay, good. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, so this connection thing is going to be something that we're going to be talking about a lot, and we're going to be confronted with a lot over the next few years. What is connection? How do we connect? How do we get ourselves back into connection? And it is a coming back into it. It's not a reaching out. It's not out there. It's here. And if we can hold space and we can be present here for what's arising in a moment, we can sort out conflict. We can sort out disagreements. It's when there's an act of separation of you are there and I am here and you're against me and I'm against you. That's when you have conflict. When you can see that you're both moving towards a common goal, that's where you have unity. That's where you can dissolve, not resolve, actually dissolve conflict. Because you can see there's no separation. There's two people, but there's one energy.
Yeah, and it all boils down to one energy, perceiving one energy, and that's really the root cause of, for example, let's talk about a cancerous cell. It's a depletion of energy. For some reason, the mitochondria has been depleted of energy, and that can be a result of toxicity. It can be result of imbalances in flows of energy, as I said, EMFs, etc. It can be thought patterns interfering with the body. It can be it could be genetic. That plays a small role, a very small role, but it can happen. And the real cure is to re-energize the cell, to bring back the energy, so it can dissolve its prison walls that it's built about itself to try and contain itself. And as we re-energize the cell, it actually doesn't have the need to be cancerous anymore. And we can just extend that into the world around us. As we reconnect with a true source of energy, and we re-energize ourselves, fear drops away. The sense of separation, misperception of separation drops away, and we reconnect. We reconnect person to person, tribe to tribe, nation to nation. We reconnect and we start to see the wholeness of this planet, not division. And what is this energy that needs to be reconnected with? Well, it's your source. It is the source of being. It is life itself. And how do we do that? We recognize that the true source is not outside of ourselves, but within ourselves, through the portal of presence. So it's to reconnect, as we said earlier, with nature. Because when we are looking at the world that man made, there is a lack of energy in that. There's a lack of aliveness in that. And no matter how clever man gets and what we look at seems to be alive, it isn't alive. It will never be alive. It is dead. It's animated, yes, and it gives the appearance of movement, and we think, oh, well, if it moves, it must be alive. And that is not true, because life, even in its stillness, is alive. Even if it doesn't move, it's alive. And so I'm going to suggest that we need to connect with that which is truly alive. In that reconnection with that which is alive, there is an osmosis absorption of that life energy, of that spirit, you can call it spirit if you like, back into your cells in your body, back into your auric field in your that surrounds your body. And as we reconnect with that not man-made world, but that nature-made world, and we start to honor nature in our awareness, giving it our attention, we start to see the beauty that nature has to offer in this moment, rather than just focusing on the man-made world. In the noticing, in the perceiving, there's an exchange of energy. And that energy is the reconnective energy that we need most. Because when we are in nature, what happens to our heart? It opens, and we reconnect with life itself. And that is the way that we're going to move successfully through this portal of transformation that the world is going through at the moment.
That's funny you mentioned osmosis. I had the same word that came in, because we think we're just sitting in nature and we're enjoying nature, but nature is enjoying us, and nature is feeding us, and we are feeding nature.
Yeah.
Nature is feeding us, and we're feeding nature, and we're engaging. Like, we've got a fire here. If fire is life, it's alive. It's not just an element. All elements are life. They're archetypal living energies. Water is alive. It's intelligence. It holds an intelligence that we can't even imagine. Water never dies. It changes form.
Water's
it's alive. It's got a life of its own. It's got a remembrance. Fire is alive. Air is alive. Earth is alive. So when we connect with the elements of all four elements, our own included, we are connecting with life, and life is connecting back. That's for me the beauty of nature, is that nature gives and takes. We give. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's not just a one-sided. You're not just sitting in nature. Your entire body and energy system is shifting in a beautiful natural environment. I mean, we came out of the forest today, and it's boxes and packing, and we're doing all of that.
Yeah.
But we both came out of the forest feeling exhausted, but in a good way, feeling so relaxed. We could have just laid under one of the trees and gone to sleep. It was that level, because that was what nature was giving us. Nature was feeding her peace into us, so that we absorbed it. But that could only happen because we were open. We were walking with no shoes on for most of the way as well. So as things heat up in our environment, in our world, in our own energetic nervous systems, which are on high alert right now, I think everybody needs to just realize that nervous energy is at an all-time high. People are not sure what's going to happen. They're concerned about what's going to happen, how they're going to deal with what's going to happen, and it's the unknown. We're dealing with the unknown. So to be able to actually say, yes, we're dealing with the unknown. And yes, what do I need to support myself through this unknown period? And if we support ourselves by connecting in nature, we are giving ourselves nutrients, and we're connecting with an intelligence much bigger than we even perceive. You connect with one tree, you're connecting with a network of trees and branches and roots systems. And so it goes on and on and on. So as things heat up and as things get more stressful, if they do, and even if they don't, just to remember this month to to reconnect to earth, to
Yeah.
reconnect to the moment, to take time, to just sit back, especially if you feel yourself going into panic mode. And that's why people generally, the suicide rate's crazy. Why do people commit suicide? It's a lack of connection. It's a feeling of not being connected, of being separate from life. That there's no point, or there's no feeling that they have anything to get or give or contribute. So how can we be more connecting? How can we actually put a word out to someone who might be battling? And there are a lot of people that are. They might not be saying it.
Yeah, but the one way to connect, the major way to connect, is to open our hearts.
Yeah.
Fear closes the heart. Fear separates us. Love opens us up. We are, it's to remember this, we are in a symbiotic dance.
Yeah.
You mentioned that word earlier. With life. We're in that dance with life. In the moment, the world is really trying to shut us down in so many ways, and one of the ways is to demonize carbon. Well, we are carbon. Carbon dioxide is our very nature. It's the very fuel our body uses to live. It needs a little bit of oxygen, but a lot of carbon dioxide. That activates the cells. Cells die from lack of carbon dioxide in their structure. And yet, in nature, there's this dance. We breathe out carbon dioxide, and nature breathes in carbon dioxide and gives us oxygen. There's this dance, this symbiotic dance in nature. We don't have that dance with technology. We don't have that dance with the internal combustion car engine or with the cell phone. We don't have that. There's not that symbiotic relationship. In nature, there is. So the reconnection we're talking about is to reconnect to that which is alive, which is life itself. And you mentioned the elements, all of the elements. You can reconnect with water. You can go swimming, for example. You can walk as we did today in nature, barefoot, reconnect with the earth. That's reconnecting. Reconnect with the breath, breathing deeply, beautiful air, and being grateful for each breath that you take. Because, the breath has so much to teach us, and one of the things it teaches us is trust. And what we need more than anything else at the moment is trust. Every time you breathe out, breathing out is an act of trust. You're trusting that there's going to be another breath there, because otherwise you wouldn't breathe out. So the very act of breathing out is to reconnect to the trust of life, that life is going to give you the next breath. The technology is not going to give you the next breath, but life is going to give you the next breath. So this is the dance of reconnection that we're in, reconnecting to our source, and our source is life, not technology. Technology is not going to save us, not at all. Technology is not going to solve the poverty situation or the starvation problem. It never has, and it never will. What will solve all of our problems is a reconnection to life. Life has a phenomenal intelligence. It knows how to build a kidney. It knows how to build a liver. It knows how to build an eyeball. It knows all of that. Humans don't know how to do that. Technology will never know how to do all of that. So life itself has an intelligence, and what we need to do to reconnect to that intelligence is to open and trust that intelligence called life. It will lead us safely through all the traumas of our life, all the turbulent storms of life. Life will lead us, but we have to surrender. We have to come back to the sacred essence of being, which is the being that's connected to life, rather than the thinking, which is a form of disconnection. Every thought we think is a disconnection from the oneness of life. And when we come into the space between our thoughts, when we come into that stillness, we reconnect with life. So the major part and process that we can contribute to and participate in the reconnection is to reconnect with stillness. Stillness in nature, absolutely powerful beyond measure. Because as we reconnect to the stillness in nature, our heart opens and we become a factor of positive contribution to the awakening of all of mankind.
And if you can't get out into nature, you're still in nature. So connect your breath. That's nature number one, which is your anchor.
Yeah.
Go and have a glass of water. Stand outside and watch the sky for a few moments.
Yeah.
Put your feet on the ground. They're such simple things. I mean, our inner space community this month, we're focusing on simplicity. It's the simple things. It's the simple things that bring us back, that connect us. It's not brain surgery. It's not reading and getting a PhD in a million different things. It's the little things. And it's the little thing of just this breath.
Yeah.
Just that can bring you home and reconnect you instantly. When things are going topsy-turvy in the world, to find that center point, that's the connection point. So whether that's looking at a plant just for a second, for 2 seconds, or sitting quietly for 1 minute, or breathing, just focusing on the breath, bringing life into your environment. If you're in an office, bring a plant. Put a plant on your desk. It really does. It brings in another element. It brings life in. Because many offices are lifeless places. They've got artificial light, they've got air conditioning, they've got some have got no views. So bring life into that. So just to remind ourselves this month. Won't you pass me that little piece of paper that you typed up there? I think that's a beautiful thing. John found it, and it just reminded me of it. The philosopher Nietzsche, I think, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Nietzsche.
In a rare moment of deep stillness wrote, "For happiness, how little suffices for happiness. The least thing precisely, the gentlest thing, the lightest thing, a lizard's rustling, a breath, a whisk, an eye glance, little maketh up the best happiness." It is the little things in life.
Simplicity.
And we complicate things.
If you think of how the mind complicates everything, it really does. The heart simplifies everything. You know, when you do a PhD, what are you doing? You are complicating things. You're splitting things into smaller and smaller compartments. But when you relax and you breathe and you come into stillness, you come into oneness. You come into such a simple sense of oneness with all of life in that moment. You don't need to understand life in that moment. You don't need to dissect it and do a PhD on life. You just come back to the stillness. And in that stillness, there's an inner guidance. And that guidance comes from the infinite intelligence of life itself, which creates the cosmos, which creates the universe.
I just wanted to also say something that you said about trust. That that each in breath we're trusting, each out breath we're trusting is going to be an in breath. I think a lot of people get the concept of trust wrong. I know I did for a long time. That many people will say, "But I trusted that this would happen, and it didn't happen, so now I don't trust anymore." Or I trusted this person to be X, Y, Z, and this person wasn't X, Y, Z, so now I don't trust people anymore. But this is not trusting people or situations or outcomes to come the way we want them to come. It's trusting life as the process of life. So I've been led to this place. I trust that I'm in this place because I'm supposed to be in this place. And that life is actually leading me through this. It's not about attaching to some kind of outcome and trusting in that. Because that might or might not happen.
Well, I'll just interject there. The mind loves to trust in time with its expectations.
Yeah.
True trust doesn't come in time, it comes in presence. Life is presence. Trust in life, not time. Time is a mind projection. What does a tree know of time? What does a rock know of time? What does the ocean know of time? It knows of presence, though. And this reconnection is a reconnection to life and to presence, which is the divine. Remember that. Every time you come back to presence in your focus, in your attention, you are honoring the divine with your presence. And you will be protected, you will be guided through the storms of life with presence when you reconnect to this infinite intelligence called life. And the work that we encourage you to do is the inner space work. That work of reconnecting to that stillness within. Yes, the world out there does require a bit of energy from us. It does require us to do things on the outside. But the most important part of the human experience is the being, not the doing.
Space.
Yeah. So those of you who would like to join us this month on Inner Space, you can join just for a month if you want, if you're not already part of that community. This month we will be investigating simplicity, and that's on our website, journeysofAwakening.com.
I'm looking forward to this actually, because it's a beautiful theme.
It is, yeah. Let me get the affirmation cards. We've got some affirmation cards here. Let's choose one for the week ahead. Do you want to choose?
Mm-hmm.
A guiding one. We've got all these different coloured cards here, all these beautiful colours.
The green one.
Okay. That's lovely. That's a lovely card.
Alright,
Okay.
I'll see our guys out. I'm just leaning forward a bit because my voice tends to go a bit soft. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I hope the connection didn't drop too much, but we stayed here for most of it, so hopefully it worked. Alright, so let's just settle in wherever you are. Settle into your space and take a deep breath in. And then a long, slow exhale through the mouth as if you're blowing through a straw. And another deep breath in. And then a slow, long exhale. Let it all go. And a third deep breath in. And on the out breath, release it all. Drop your shoulders. Allow your hands to rest lightly wherever they are. And consciously soften and open into this moment. And as we breathe in, notice the breath coming in through your nostrils. And notice it flowing out again. And notice that you are the observer of life entering into your body and you giving life back to life. It's this beautiful dance that we're in every second of every day, giving and receiving, the ebbing and the flowing. Staying open, staying present. And just staying grateful for this breath that's flowing through you. And oxygenating all your cells in your body. Allowing us to have this incredible experience called life. As you breathe in, notice the smells in the room. No story attached, just noticing the smells. Notice the taste that you can taste in your mouth. Notice what you can see, either behind your closed eyes or open your eyes slightly. Again, not attaching to anything, just noticing. And now focusing on what you can hear in the room around you. And then extend the hearing out even further so that you can hear what's happening outside the room. And then bringing your attention back into the room again. Listening to the sound of your breathing. connecting with the breath as it comes in through the nostrils. The feeling of the air on your face. The chair or bed or floor that you're sitting on. Connecting in with your body to see how your body's feeling. And wherever there's a kink or a tightness, just breathing into that area and releasing it. Just allowing yourself to drift into this beautiful still place. So still that you might even hear the sound of your heart beating or feel your own heart beating. And in this beautiful still place, our affirmation for the evening and for the week. Breathe this into your heart. I now fall in love with the love inside me. I now fall in love with the love inside me. Open up to those words. Permeate your being with beautiful emerald green light. Let this beautiful green life color permeate your whole being. Opening, creating new life. I now fall in love with the love inside me. Taking this feeling into your evening, remembering to reconnect throughout this week. Reconnect to this place where the love resides inside you. And a deep breath in. You might want to rub your fingers together. Become aware of yourself sitting on the couch or the chair or the floor. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes.
It was beautiful, wasn't that lovely? A little bit of stillness has so much value. The simplicity of stillness, it's always there. It's always underneath all the noise. And it is life. And that's true reconnection. Lots of love. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for all the hearts. We really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. And press the like and the share button. Thank you.
Thanks,
we
everybody.
look forward to catching up with you next time. And next week we'll be in a different location. And
We will.
if it was our connection tonight that was interfering with that, we don't know. But next week we'll have a different connection. So thank you. Love you all. God bless.
Lots of love.